This is a battle in the second Aggony Flash tournament, and Aggony Duck was nice enough to send me a series of replay from the Flash tournament. It was hosted on the day before Christmas Eve, and yes, you are seeing artillery pieces on the field, so that's pretty cool. I haven't seen a tournament that's allowed artillery pieces in quite some time. So we have Chaatai commanding the Danes here. Let's have a look at the Dane army first. Levi Freeman upgraded to silver here. Interesting choice, not one that I would make myself. Then we have Sword Herdman, a Housecarl General, Axe Herdman, Sword Herdman. We have Spearman. Then we have Armored Archers up front. I would personally, if you look at the stats of the Axe Herdman and the Sword Herdman, I would probably bring Axe Herdman most of the time. They are a beastly unit offensively, and 50 melee attack, 32 melee damage, 35 charge, high armor penetration. The Sword Herdman, not as good of a unit in my opinion. Now here we have Cordoba, so an interesting matchup. Berber Light Cav, Andalusian Warriors. You can bring a lot of skirmishers facing the Danes because of course the Danes have no cavalry, so it should be a nice skirmish fest against them. Andalusian Infantry, Berber Spearmen, and Andalusian Infantry. Umayyad Guard in the back, so very few cavalry units brought by Duck here. And as far as I can tell, no big axes being brought by the Danes. Big axes might have been just banned, but I highly doubt that. I think Chaatai just chose not to bring any big axes. And the Onager, I think the reason why Duck's general is way in the back here is because he doesn't want to be Onager sniped early on. And the Onagers don't have that much ammunition, 9 ammunition. So better make these shots count. And the way Duck is deploying his army here, it's going to be hard for the Onagers to cause significant damage. Let's see, they hit the armored archers. They actually took down 16 archers from that volley. Took down a few archers over here as well. And these archers are quite important for Duck. He is of course at an infantry disadvantage here against the Danes. The Danes with artillery, that's a new one. They are doing damage to the armored archers, no doubt about it, but they are also rapidly depleting their ammunition and not getting a huge amount of kills out of it. The armored archers laying down fire now. And 2 archer units, 2 armored archer units firing on each other in loose formation. They're going to spend a significant amount of time firing at each other. And the Sword Herdmen, they are not using shield wall here, a bit of a problem. They need an increase in missile block to be able to eat heavy shots. Here come some more flaming shots. Taking down the armored archers quite significantly, and one of the Dane problems is that you just... Yeah, look at this, the Sword Herdman. This is an expensive sword unit, and look at how it's being picked apart. Now the skirmishers are able to run away. These Levi Freemen do have rapid advance, so they could be dangerous if they use that rapid advance to get into range of the archers and then charge. Here we have a Berber Light Cav. These artillery pieces are exceptionally accurate against moving targets, I have to say. But it looks like the Berber Light Cav is going to go and try to take them out, which, I mean, sacrificing a Berber Light Cav like this perhaps isn't the worst of ideas, because then these onagers are focused on this lone unit, so they're not killing off very important skirmishers. And it will also, of course, allow the Berber Light Cav to get into the armored archers. Did I see... Yeah, 14 melee damage there. Now the spearmen are pushing up the center. Flaming shots incoming against the Berber light cav. They are going to get the charge on the armored archers here. Let's see how well they're able to kill them. I think the Berber light cav is going to bite the dust here against the armored archers. And getting a bit of help from the onagers. Yeah, the Berber light cav can't take this for long. And meanwhile, Andalusian warriors charging into the sword herdmen. The sword herdmen getting flanked by Andalusian infantry here. And the axe herdmen are also getting hammered and flanked by Berber spearmen on the flanks there. But you can see the axe herdmen are racking up kills quickly. They are outmatched though over here. We have so many units fighting up against very few units. Berber spearmen against the spearmen, and the Umayyad Guard cavalry starting to get some nice charges here. The housecarls are getting intercepted by the Andalusian infantry, so they are not getting a good charge here. The Umayyad Guard moves away, and now these skirmishers are completely zoned out of the battle, the Dane skirmishers. So a rare charge from the Umayyad Guard, breaking the spearmen. And the housecarls are also taking fire from the Andalusian archers. The housecarls are exhausted at this point in the battle, and that's very bad for them. But let's compare the kills here. 21 kills for the sword herdmen, 85 for the axe herdmen. So outside of shield wall, the axe herdmen win every time. But the axe herdmen were fighting Berber spearmen as well, so you do expect them to get more kills in. Let's see here, armored cavalry, heavy melee cav. Getting rid of quite a few housecarls on the charge, but when this unit tries to disengage, look at what happens to it. If it tries to disengage at all. Yeah, now it looks like it tries to disengage, perhaps, let's see. It won't be able to disengage now anyway. But it's actually, the housecarls are taking fire, I think. Yeah, the housecarls are taking fire. And they are dropping extremely quickly. The lack of shields really hurts them. So now the general is dead off the field. And that's a problem for the Danes, starting to waver already, or these armored archers. Even though the balance of power is somewhat equal, it's quite clear that what Duck has left here is going to be more than enough to overpower the Danes. And I don't know that bringing this artillery was worth it, really. I mean, they did get more kills than what shows up on the unit card here. But in my opinion, in order to be effective, the Danes cannot be defensive, because they are going to be outmatched in cavalry, and they are going to need to take it to the enemy. So some levy freemen getting shot here, the general is dead. So now it's just a matter of mopping up the remaining units for Duck here. This armored cavalry, a super sturdy unit. Running into the hail of fire here, but it's... might be enough to break this unit, since they're firing flaming ammunition on themselves. Yep, they shattered, because they fired flaming ammunition on the cavalry incoming. So one of the units broke. And the levy freemen getting shot to pieces by flaming ammunition, and that's going to reduce their morale significantly. The general being dead. Yeah, the levy freemen shatter instantly. Now the Andalusian archers just move up the field and continue pouring flaming shots into the remaining units to try and break them. Using 2 units here of Andalusian infantry, because why not? When you have them available. And that's it. A close victory there for Duck and his Cordobans. Quite significant, I'd say. If you look at the performance of these Danish units, they're not what you want. Bringing 8 spears and upgrading those spears instead of bringing Dane axes and more axe herdmen, I think that's a mistake here in the Dane army. I like the Cordoban army. A few cav units, not too excessive. It might be tempting to just go full on cav against the Danes, since the Danes can't bring any cavalry themselves, but I think bringing a balanced army like this is a very good idea. You have some nice skirmish, you have a few spear units. Now the spear units are of course not there to kill enemy cavalry. The spears more take a role for interrupting charges and chasing after skirmishers, in my opinion. But yeah, a very difficult Dane army to make good use of here, because you only really have 1, 2, 3, 4... You only have 2 good offensive infantry units, and offensive infantry is what the Danes are all about. So I would really like to see some Dane axes. I would like to see some more axe herdmen, because they will absolutely devastate these Andalusian warriors and these Andalusian infantry units on the charge. The problem is just taking care of the skirmishers, and the Danes can bring some cheap archers themselves. Now bringing the onagers, a bit questionable, because any experienced player is just going to keep his important units out of there and do what Duck did, send in his skirmishers, lose formation, and those onagers are going to be wasted. So interesting battle, interesting to see siege equipment in a competitive game. Strength and honor.